All right, this is video number 15 in molding and casting a life-size figure. So what I've done since the last video is I've broken down the original. So I've taken the rubber and mother mold off of the clay original. I've broken down the clay and the steel armature, tucked that away for that material for future use. And I took the rubber molds and cleaned them by just taking a basin of soapy water and a soft brush and just brushing out whatever clay was sort of stuck to it, and then rinse them off with clean water. And then I put them back into their mother molds. And this is an important thing to do, I think, before you start with the casting, to make sure that everything is fitting back together and you're not getting big gaps in your seam lines. Sometimes in the mold making process with the mother mold, you can make funny little undercuts or something that where you can take the pieces apart, but when you put them back together, they don't fit together that well. So anyway, I identified 3 or 4 little spots that I'll go back with an angle grinder and just grind a few small areas down. For the most part, things worked out pretty well, but I just want to make sure everything is as clean and tight as possible so that I don't have any big gaps along the seam lines when I put the two halves back together after I have the casting material in them. Another thing that I did is I stacked these back up and made sure that they all sort of still fit together with one another. And I also wanted to make sure that, as sort of imagining, maybe a 1/4 inch of casting material in here, if I'd be able to get my arm down in each of these areas to get to the seam lines. And as you can see, I've got plenty of room to do that. So that should be no problem. So what I will do next is, after I take care of those little mother mold issues, I will start the casting process with aqua resin, starting from the bottom, working my way up. And so I'll break each of these drums into their halves again and cast them separately and then put them back together. All right, so I'll talk a little bit more about that as I get going.